During Museveni's campaign, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, came out to threaten NRM members who are not loyal. He pushed General Museveni to start cracking out the whip to NRM members who don't toe the line. In fact, Anita Among said these statements.
Your Excellency, that patience of yours, maybe enough is enough. We cannot allow people to step on a plate that has fed you. During daytime, you pretend with us. And Your Excellency, I am speaking as the second national vice chairperson. I know I am your vice, but I must do work for you to get a good party. We cannot continue hobnobbing with the people who do not believe in us. We want to request you, Your Excellency, that you request your daughter Mongi to leave Dr. Cheng in Liracity. And Your Excellency, I want to thank you for believing in the politics of ideology, not identity.
That is Anita Among. When you see Anita Among trying to assert herself, it points towards two things. As very many people are coming out to say that he's planning to overthrow General Museveni because there are some echoes, or some people are coming out to say that he's asserting himself to power, is making a grave mistake. One of the things that best attributes General Museveni has is patience. In fact, as he gets older, his patience is starting to become a burden to his administration and the developing of our country. But one of the best attributes is patience. Even if I want him to go, I must acknowledge that patience. Even in the song The Mustard Seed, do you know that Kabamba was supposed to attack the previous day? In fact, very many combatants who had talked, some of them went to Kabamba that day and Museveni never surfaced. And the next day is the day when he resurfaced to take on Kabamba. If Anita Among comes out to say that General Museveni is so patient, he doesn't know the tool of how patient General Museveni is. For example, let me give you an example. When the outside world from Britain and America sanctioned Anita Among, they came out with a report that he even has investments in those countries, in which he denied. General Museveni tasked the foreign minister to go and investigate. Okay? The foreign minister investigated. He came out to say that he has brought the report to General Kaguta Museveni. Had it been that Britain or America was lying that Anita Among never had investments, General Museveni would have come out to tell them off because he's a Pan-Africanist. He would have come out to condone them that they are giving him false report. But when the report was brought back, he kept quiet, which meant that Britain and America were right, because even Anita Among's children were studying from those countries. Yet he had come out to say that he doesn't need a visa. He kept quiet. That is patience. Anita Among saying that General Museveni is not patient. If he wasn't patient, he would be the first person to go home, because he got a report that your children stay outside, that you have investment. He never even released it to the public. He kept quiet. Okay? It is the truth. He kept quiet. Do you know that even when one of the greatest consumer of intelligence is the president, do you think he doesn't know how you get your money from the parliamentary commission? You think he doesn't know? But because he's so patient, and by the way, that patience is becoming a burden. It's the reason why he has not fought corruption. Because even after understanding that people are stealing, is normally slow. He has been a patient on our Uganda airline during the Kosase. So you unearthed a lot of things, even what is going on right now. Now, yesterday I saw a letter when the CID is investigating Uganda airline. That is patience, which is becoming a burden. So Anita Among doesn't know how power is administered and controlled. He thinks everything must be decided. It's the reason as to why. Because of being impatient as a speaker, when the speaker got some altercation with Honorable Zake, he was aggrieved, He was the judge in the case to dismiss Honorable Zake. Even the court came out to say that it was unconstitutional. It was because Anita Among is so impatient. The tool of being patient in leadership, it is a big pillar. It's the reasons why even by the way, because I've followed Parliament very many times, whenever Parliament is presided over by Anita Among, emotions are so high. In fact, emotions are put before even logic. You go look at when it is presiding over the House, and it's, by the way, it's not the same thing that is being done by Taiwo. That's the truth. Whenever people come out like Jerry Sonyo to take her on, you clearly see it tries to stop them from speaking. It tries to engage in speech whenever things come out touching her. Yet, in very many big democracies, members of parliament take on their speak of parliament. It is very normal. You remember when he refused to apologize after making a mistake? Speakers of parliament across the world apologize if a mistake is done. But for her, apologizing maybe is a taboo. Yet, on very many occasions, has come out to make very huge mistakes. So the issue of patience, if General MUSEVENI was not patient, one of the people who will have gone back home, will have not been speaker, is Anita Among. You don't know what you are calling for. It is the truth. Okay? You don't know what you are calling for. But of course, that's the modus operandi of General Kaguta Museveni. Keeping a file on you, for example, of corruption, because he knows of your investments outside when the outside world sanctioned you, is also a bad thing because he ends up using Anita Among. It's the reasons why Anita Among will do anything, including cutting off her hand, to please General Kaguta Museveni. She once came out to say that everything that is liked by General Kaguta Museveni will pass. That is the problem. It is the truth. Because even General Museveni is using the things she knows about Anita Among so that he can retain him in those positions, one, so that each and everything can pass in parliament. And it is passing. A speaker of parliament cannot stand on a podium and comes out to say that everything that is liked by General Kaguta Museveni will pass in a big democracy. Even if you have it at heart, but pronouncing it is a problem. So telling General Museveni that is patient, you don't know what it means, is the reasons why he has retained power for that long period of time. Is the reason as to why his patience is becoming a burden of fighting corruption. It's part of the reason I want him to go. Because General Museveni is a wise person. Anyone who comes out to say that General Museveni is stupid doesn't know what he's talking about. But even the wisdom he has failed to build this nation and take it into turbulent times of transition. He has failed to understand that his time is done. He should go. Stop calling for General Museveni's impatience. So the purpose of this video, I've come to talk about the statements of Anita Among, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the certain matters we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video if geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. First of all, Anita Among coming out to say that General Museveni is impatient. Is patient. Truth is, General Museveni is patient. And one of the greatest attributes of General Museveni, as I had said, is patient at being strategic. But also, Anita Among is saying this at a position where, first of all, you are going in a transition. Anita Among is also a shrewd politician. You'd want to be in power for as long as he wishes to be. Because the other day was in the opposition when he comes out to say that General Museveni is so patient that their party is going down as if he's among the starters of NRM. So he wants to show that he loves NRM more than even those who started it. But as of course, very many people are coming out to say that the speed he's taking, he may want to occupy the presidency. Of course, every dream of any politician, most especially when you reach at the level of the speaker, you may want to be present at some point. But I don't think that Even if he wants and is playing some machinations, she can be. First of all, to tell you that there is a video where Andrew Mwenda and Robert Kabushenga were talking about this. In fact, they said these statements.
I've told you this privately. I have told you, and I'll say it publicly. I think, again, a lot of people, including a lot of NRM insiders, have underestimated Anita Among. And if there is one thing Anita Among demonstrates, is that she's a very ruthless and effective operator. And I also keep reminding you, Charles, in our private conversations, that she has one of the most interesting partners in a husband called Moses Magogo. His reputation and his record is also well known. Now, that partnership can be an interesting...
And both are unopposed.
Yeah, exactly. So they needed to be unopposed to focus on the bigger thing. Now, them plus now my good friend TT, Thomas Daewa, is catching up. They have understood the politics of transaction. In fact, they've been very effective students of the president. The president tries to mask it and present it as some kind of intervention. For them, they've understood what money can and should do for you in the politics. So what is the first thing that they've done with their position and their money? Is ensured that when the parliament comes back, the loyalty to them from those who come is unquestioned, because they've been financing a lot of parliamentary candidates and campaigning for them. So that already is an investment in who will be speaker and who will be deputy. Now, Andrew, I go back to answer your question, which was puzzling you. Why have the violent guys come back? They have seen the leverage that the Anitas have built using money. If they keep quiet with their means of violence, they will be ignored. So they are also creating their own thing. So Anita has made sure, and another thing, Charles, has happened quietly. Power has
So Anita is a specialist in money politics. The other ones are specialists in violent politics.
And that is what counts now. That's why I said, but the point I wanted also to make, Charles and Andrew, is that you now have basically someone at the table who tomorrow, when it comes to the bargain, she will have the resources, she will have the money. You cannot ignore her, whether you like it or not. Now, the question is...
That's true.
How, does she now leverage parliament to cut a deal or to force outcomes out of the president, and the president starts to make concessions? Can the president still remove her? The way he removed Wapa, the way he removed, all the others before, after that. Those are serious questions. And, I was also telling you, sorry, I forgot this. I wanted to make this point. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but power has shifted once again. In 2005, up to 2005, the political power sort of sat in the NRM secretariat. In 2011, it did. 2015, to some extent, it shifted from, actually, after 2011, it shifted from the secretariat to the parliamentary caucus. And that's how Amama lost that fight, because now the parliamentary caucus, rallied against him. Then, again, in the election of 2020, something called the NRM chairman's office became the instrument in NRM. Then, now, the power has shifted to SEC. Our friend Richard Tudong, he may be running around rallies, but he's of no consequence right now. So, and who is the number two, the effective political number two in the NRM Central Executive Committee? It is AAA. Chigongo is a ceremonial leader, and as Andrew said, if Buganda is lost, Chigongo is of no use. So, there you are. Who controls SEC? AAA and TT. They are the ones in charge of that. So, let me leave that to your imagination as to where we're heading with those people.
That is Andrew Mwenda and Kabushenga saying this. First of all, what Anita Among understood was the purpose of being with money and power. And he knows how to use money to get power. Many of the politicians don't use their money to get power. Anita Among knows that. It's the reason why he was able to even make the leader of opposition do a mistake of taking the 500 million shillings. It's the reason why the new leader of opposition, Julius Onyenyi, is the one who had made, has impressed her to the wall, to an extent of not trying to give the perks of the leader of opposition as it's supposed to be. So for me, I keep on telling people that even those who are saying that Anita Among wants to occupy the big house may have some iota of truth in them, but I don't think at this juncture that he can take that part. I don't think it is the truth. Okay? Because we're in an authoritarian rule, we are in a military government. I think what she's doing right now is trying to buttress herself in the whims of power, but is doing it wrongly. And the reason I'm saying that is you are doing it wrongly, even those who have ambitions of the president, the most successful one, most especially when you're still in the system, are those who don't show their ambition. But coming out to say that MUSEVENI is very patient. If it wasn't patience, the first person to go home was supposed to be Anita Among. It is the truth. Of course, that's my opinion. Remain yours truly, Mr. Makindi, Kabye Sulaiman Mawagali. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.